Once the formidable bastion of Mercian kings, this ancient fortress has been attacked and besieged, has been visited by royalty, has inspired painters and poets, and has faced vindictive destruction twice. Today, it stands as a unique museum and venue. But is it true that beneath its venerable facade lurk restless spirits who refuse to fade into the past? Join me as I quest beyond the history and investigate the haunted legacy of Tamworth Castle, where over 900 years of history converge with the supernatural. Tamworth is a charming town in the county of Staffordshire, lying on the northern banks of the rivers Tame and Anker. Writing in 1845, Charles Palmer described it thus: "For the richness of its scenery and the fertility of its soil, it ranks highly among those parts of England on which nature has laid its bounteous hand and bestowed some of her choicest favours." At its centre stands a stone castle on a motte. It is here, in this dramatic building where lives have been lived and lost, that we find Tamworth's haunted history. There was already a settlement in Tamworth when the Romans arrived in Britain, but the town came into its own during the 6th century as the heart of Mercia, one of the great 7 Anglo-Saxon kingdoms of England. By the late 8th century, the then Mercian king, Offa, favoured Tamworth as his base, even building a royal house here. Unfortunately, the Vikings invaded England and, amongst many other things, drove out the Mercian king. Razed and ruined, the future looked bleak for Tamworth. It wasn't until Alfred the Great's daughter, Aethelflaed, made Tamworth her capital in 913 that the town started to recover. Aethelflaed, Lady of the Mercians, was one of the most powerful political figures in 10th century Britain. Immediately before her death at Tamworth in 918, she controlled not only Mercia, but Wales, the East Midlands, and southern Northumbria. Her brother, Edward, had taken on their father's mantle of King of the Anglo-Saxons, and this passed to his son, Aethelstan. In 926, Aethelstan oversaw the marriage of his sister Editha to Sitric, the Norse king of York and Dublin. But when Sitric renounced his conversion to Christianity, Editha returned to Mercia. She spent the rest of her life as a nun, devoted to caring for the poor and sick. The lady in black who has subsequently haunted Tamworth Castle is, according to many, Editha. Her legend, retold in beautiful stained glass at the local parish church, includes a ghostly visitation to Robert, 3rd Baron Marmion, in 1139. In 1066, William the Conqueror gave Tamworth Castle to Robert le Despencer. Despencer set about building a motte and bailey castle and evicted an order of nuns so he could get more land. Some say this was from Polesworth Abbey. Other records state there was a convent in the castle grounds. In any event, after fervent prayers from her dispossessed followers, Editha appeared to Marmion, whose family had inherited the castle following Le Despencer's death. A misty figure clad in a spectral habit, Editha rebuked Marmion for the loss of her followers' home and delivered a dire warning. Unless he restored their land to her successors, Marmion would meet an evil death and be condemned to hell. In case he was in any doubt of the force of her intention, Editha struck Marmion with her crosier, inflicting a wound that refused to stop bleeding until he repented and vowed to make things right. The room in the tower where Editha demanded Marmion's atonement is the location where others have seen the spectral figure of a lady in black, and the staircase leading to it is even known as the Haunted Staircase. A tape recording captured disembodied sounds of sad sighs and moaning in this area. A strange image appeared on a photograph in the 1950s. In 2000, while filming a documentary titled Ghost, BBC staff found that the equipment they were using on the haunted staircase wouldn't work. Unseen hands seemed to have tampered with the tape. Is this presence, this lady in black, really Editha? Having returned to this realm for a very specific reason in 1139, and received the appropriate response from Mercian, would this devoted and pious nun still haunt the castle? Perhaps there's another entity making itself known on the haunted staircase. Something with a sadder, darker past that has yet to be uncovered. And certainly there are happenings which would suggest Tamworth Castle is home to spirits far more restless than a devout nun. In 1991, security cameras recorded a misty image in the corner of the banqueting hall, moving eerily around the room, rising and falling from side to side. Door hooks mysteriously unhitch themselves, and heavy footsteps echo through empty corridors. The unnerving sounds of dragging furniture are heard when the castle is otherwise deserted. And the alarm system goes off without anyone or anything on site, nor sign of any attempted break-in. One experience, recounted on the castle's own website and in a 2003 episode of the television series Most Haunted, involves a member of staff. Opening a locked exhibition room, she was struck in the face and momentarily blinded. She described the sensation as being like having sand thrown in her eyes. But when she was able to see again, there was no sand, no particles of anything at all in her eyes or on her face or body. There was, however, a large cloud of vapour in the corner of the room with a blue colour to it, which moved with purpose towards the window and vanished. What could this mysterious and potentially malign energy be? Maybe one of the many people who, over the castle's long history, have suffered and died there? Empress Maud confiscated Tamworth Castle in 1140, and on King Stephen's liberation in 1141 it changed hands again. In 1215, King John, offended at Baron Mercian taking sides with the French king, commanded that forces hasten to the castle of Tamworth, strip it and pull it to the ground. Besieged and captured by parliamentarian forces during the English Civil War, Cromwell listed Tamworth as one of the castles to be slighted, like Kenilworth, though it escaped that fate. Events like these, which are so easily described, would have exacted a high price in terms of human suffering, perhaps not yet forgiven or forgotten by one or more of the dead. One spirit who seems unable to move on from this realm is the castle's White Lady. Legend has it that after witnessing Sir Lancelot slay her lover Tarquin in a knightly duel, she threw herself from one of the castle walls. Now, arrayed in glistening robes which shimmer in the moonlight, she haunts the Lady Meadow, her mournful weeping carrying on the air. There was once a large fresco of Sir Lancelot and Sir Tarquin on the north wall of the castle's great hall, but it was whitewashed over in the 1700s. Could this concealed painting shed light on the presence of the White Lady and her tragic story? What might enable her to find a peaceful rest at last? As I conclude my journey through Tamworth Castle, I find it more than a monument to the past. It's a reminder that some stories are too powerful to fade away, and that some souls are too bound to this earth to ever truly depart. From resolute Editha to the heartbroken White Lady, the castle is alive with echoes of the past that refuse to be silenced. And I think that's a good thing. Every creak, every shadow is a story waiting to be told, if you dare explore the haunted heritage that lies within.